Welcome back to SwitchOff South Africa. I'm Nicky Nash, as always, in Park Mission to change cars and all things motoring. Today I have a vehicle I've been looking forward to because it's the first time I am driving a Cabriolet. What is a Cabriolet, you guys are wondering? It is a drop top. You know, it's flat. So I love that about this vehicle. Like, it's a very good, I'm smiling, I'm happy. So I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about those Mercedes-Benz CLE 300 Formatic. From the extra look of the vehicle. I'm also going to show you how to drop the top, because I think that's the most important thing that you guys would like to know, how to drop the top. I'm going to tell you the interior. I'm also going to tell you why is it called a CLE and not a C-Class Coupe Cabriolet or E-Class. I'm going to tell you in that regard. And also, speaking about this vehicle, we're going to speak about the pricing. And speaking about pricing, you know how we do it this side. If you're looking for a next insurance code, click the link in the description box below. You can get your next insurance code through Naked. But yeah, for now, let me tell you my thoughts about this Mercedes-Benz CLE. So up front, you get these lovely Mercedes-Benz LED headlamps. So over here is your daytime running lights, which also double up as your indicators. And then you get your headlamps over there, your bright lights over there. Then you move on to your grille. The grille is a very nice grille. What I like about the grille as well is that over here, you get the three-pointed star, signifying Mercedes-Benz. So your grille is a three-pointed star. To the lower end as well, over here, you get three-pointed stars over there showing you that in case you forget what car you're driving, it's a Mercedes-Benz. You get your big Mercedes-Benz badge over there with the camera just above it. Then you get your Mercedes-Benz badge over here as well. Up front, I really like the look of the vehicle. It's quite good. Not too aggressive, but it is aggressive. You can see that it's sporty. Currently, the top is dropped. So when you move on to the side profile of the vehicle, firstly, I need to tell you about these 20-inch alloy wheels. You get those 20-inch alloy wheels. They're not as standard. You know, they're not standard. Mercedes-Benz, those wheels are an optional extra. The paint of the vehicle, we are going to speak about the paint. I'm going to tell you actually when I wrap up my exterior at how much the paint costs, the specific paint. Then when you move on to the rear end of the vehicle, something I really do like is that for me, I love the Burmester sound system that this vehicle has. And when the top is dropped, you get your lovely Burmester sound system exposed speakers. So these speakers actually function when the top is dropped. So for reference, and what I actually do like is that when I'm blasting music and I'm at a robot and the top is dropped like how it is right now, these speakers and people that are standing outside can hear the music I'm listening to. So I really like that. And then you also get this, there's this net over here that's for wind. You can control it inside, it lifts up, and then it also extends in front there by a windshield. You will see it later on, or you should be seeing it on the overplay videos. So I like the exposed speakers. Move on to the rear end of the vehicle, this side. You get your Formatic badging over here. You get your tail lamps, which go from your side panel onto the boot of the vehicle. You get CLE 300 badging on this side, Mercedes-Benz badging, which also double up as your button or lever to open the boot. So you just press forward, the boot lifts up itself. Speaking about the boot as well, so you don't get a button to close the boot. It's a I don't mind it, but I'm sure you guys are going to be saying for 1 million rand there should be a button, but for me it's okay, I don't mind it. But speaking of the boot, you'd expect because the drop top, the boot is actually quite small. No, it's not. It's just that when the top is dropped like how it is now, because remember the roof needs to go into the boot, so boot capacity is compromised. And there's a button over here by the boot where you can actually press it. Then when the top is up, it sort of lifts up the boot in terms of, you should be seeing on the overplay videos, and then you get like so much boot capacity. But when the top is dropped, boot capacity is hindered, but it still is enough. Honestly, for me, it still is enough considering the type of vehicle it is and what you'd be wanting to do with the vehicle. So I really do like that. I didn't expect that in terms of boot capacity, but it makes sense because look, from here at the back to all the way there, that's quite a long stretch. So that's quite interesting. Speaking of the paint, so this one, I think it's Alpine Grey Solid, right? Alpine Grey Solid, yes. This specific paint color, 58,000 rand. There's silver, like a normal silver, and I think that's around 7,000 rand. I will put it on the screen so you guys can see what I'm speaking about. But this specific one is 58,000 rand. There's a lot more options that cost a lot more, which is this Burmester sound system. But for that, we need to get inside and show you why it costs so much and speak about the interior. So when you go into the interior of the vehicle, firstly, what I need to do is drop these lovely windows. So ignition on. So let's speak about the extension I'm speaking about in terms of this net over here and over here. It's this. There's a button over here, and then it lifts up. So we get into the interior of the vehicle. So the ignition is currently on. Let me start the vehicle so I can straighten out the wheel. Straighten out the wheel. So firstly, that you'll you'll get in terms of the interior of the vehicle, what I really do like is you get the touchscreen infotainment system, which supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and then steering wheel as well, multifunctional steering wheel. So it's that hapticness feedback of the steering wheel. So it's not actual buttons, but it is decent enough. Sometimes it is a faff to get used to, but honestly, it is okay. And then you can control this part of the vehicle, controls there, and then this part controls there, for example. So I actually do like it. Steering wheel feels very good. You get a digital instrument cluster up front, which it is customizable. Same thing as the E-Class, same thing as the V-Class. I can go into map, for example. I can go into classic, which I think a lot of people drive it in, and I can go into sport digital dials. So I like the customizability of that. And then you can switch on your heads-up display as well. You can switch it on, and then you can choose the type of heads-up display you want. You want minimal, you want sport, you want standard. So I always put it in sport because I prefer it like that. So another cool feature that this vehicle has, and I'm sure you guys are wondering, what does this button do? It does that. Why does the screen need to do that? So when the top is on, covered, it's fine. You can see everything here perfectly. But when you drop the top and the sun sometimes does glaze onto the screen, sometimes you cannot see. So what that does, it does this, it lifts it so that you can see much clearer, whatever's over here much clearer. So I like that Mercedes-Benz thought about that. So very good feature. And another optional extra is this carbon fiber finishing on the vehicle. So it's actually called carbon fiber finishing. So this over here and over here, I will put it on the screen how much it costs. And then your Burmester sound system. I didn't speak about the sound system in the E-Class, if I remember correctly, but that sound system is one of the best sound systems I've experienced. That's a 4D because the seats also play music, essentially, like it gives you a beat. This one's a 3D, so it doesn't have the seat feature, but it's a very strong sound system. It feels very good as well. And to opt for the sound system, you need to choose a package called the Premium Plus package, which costs just over 100,000 Rand, correct pricing on the screen as you're seeing it. So, but that package comes with a whole lot of other things, and honestly, for me, I definitely, in a vehicle like this, and the type of vehicle that this is, and why you be getting it, I definitely feel that you should spec it. And then when you move on to the seats, there's also standard seats in terms of leather, where it's just like normal artificial leather, as I think that's what it's called. It's a no charge leather. And then you can opt for man-made leather. I think that's a 17,000 Rand extra. I'll put the correct pricing on the screen as well. And then you can opt if you want like premium leather. And I like the fact that Mercedes are giving you that option, is Napa leather. Napa leather, it costs 60,000 Rand. It is a lot of money, but you're paying for the premium. So for me, it makes sense. And another thing that I like, that you can opt with the seats. You guys are probably thinking, do you get black seats only? So you can opt for nice white seats. And for that, it's a two-tone thing where the seats are white, and then some parts of the door elements and the dash is black. It looks very good. You should be seeing on the overplay video. That feature, or that option, if I should say, it costs 20,000 Rand. It is an option that I'll spec because, and I'll speak about at the end of why there's a lot of things I'll spec in this vehicle, and I actually do understand the pricing of this vehicle. So there's a 20,000 Rand option. And then if you want red seat belts, right? So if you want red seat belts, that's I think it's an 8,000 Rand optional extra. Correct pricing on the screen. So I keep saying correct pricing on the screen because there's a lot of things to remember. And then another option is that when you open your glove compartment over here, you get this. What is this? This is for your air balance package. I'll put it on the screen what exactly that is. So that's also an optional extra pricing on the screen. There's a lot of things that costs a lot of money, but for me it makes sense. It's not just the Mercedes-Benz. The drive of the vehicle, I think, is honestly, the drive of the vehicle, I think, is also what makes this car an enjoyable car to drive. So this is the CLE 300. So this is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine, which produces 190 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters of torque. That is, for this vehicle, decent enough. It gets the power down. This is the 4MATIC. So 4MATIC, if you guys are wondering, 4MATIC means all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. So it puts the power down. There's an eco, a comfort, and a sport. The difference between eco and normal, the difference is not really there. Same thing as when you move on to a sport in this vehicle for me. It's only when the gear changes. The gear changes a bit more aggressive when you're in sport. You feel it, like it gives you a kick all the time. But for the day-to-day driving, if you put the car in eco, you can keep it in eco. There's no need for you to go into sport at certain times. But if you do want to be the race car driver, as you say, you can put into sport and have a bit of fun. And all of that is with the 9-speed automatic gearbox that comes in this Mercedes-Benz CLE 300. But overall, I do like the drive. Over road imperfections, it is a perfect drive. It gets the job done. The thing for me that I don't like in terms of the drive is the hybridness that this car has. So this car has a bit of hybrid assistance in terms of the mild hybrid. But what I don't like in that is When you're driving, it's fine perfectly because it saves in terms of fuel. When you're coasting, it switches off the engine and then it coasts, right? And then when you go in the accelerator, it kicks the engine again. What I don't like is that when you're slowing down, right? If you come into a robot, the engine switches off before you come to a full stop. That's fine. The main thing that I don't like is when you're approaching a hump, for example, as you're slowing down, the engine will switch off, and then you can find that the car not kind of stalls, but like it stops for a bit on the hump, and then you need to go on the accelerator to kick in the engine again, and then there's a bit of that delay that essentially you don't want. So I find myself having to switch off the auto start stop so much when I'm driving in residential areas because of that. But when I'm driving highway, anything like that, I do put on the auto start stop. So in terms of my advice to Mercedes-Benz, if they could, is work on that timing of when to switch off the engine. Don't switch off the engine as the car is coming to a stop. Rather switch it off when the car is at a stop. So I do experience that a lot when I'm driving short distances over speed humps. So I don't like that about the vehicle. But overall, the drive of the vehicle, it is okay. I do like it. What I am looking forward to is a CLE 53, which is going to be a 6-cylinder. So in terms of power and the daily drive, how would that work out? Will you go for this or go for that? So that important part of the video, and I'm sure you guys are waiting to know the pricing of this vehicle. So you can get into the Mercedes-Benz CLE for 1.4 million rand, right? Just closer to 1.5, correct pricing on the screen. But this specific one is, I don't have the exact specs of this one, like what it has, what it doesn't have, that I can see and not see. So I've spec'd things that I think it has, and I've also spec'd a CLE 300 the way I would want it. If I were to buy this vehicle, how I would want it. And it came to 1.7 million rand. It is a lot of money, but the type of person buying a Mercedes-Benz CLE is not the type of person that wants a day-to-day vehicle. You know what I mean? This is a car that you take out once in a while, like on a certain days, you're feeling to dropping the top off, all this stuff. I don't think it's a vehicle that you want to drive every single day. As much as you can, but it's not that type of vehicle. And honestly, for me, that's where, for a change, I'm sticking with Mercedes and saying, I understand the pricing. Remember in the E-Class video, I said the pricing, that 1.9 is a bit too much. I don't get it, you understand? But here, 1.4 starting price, 1.7 after certain options, it makes sense for me, because when I go and look at buying a CLE, that's what I need to pay. There's a certain premiums that you need to pay because of the type of car you're driving. And this vehicle, and I think it's in a market where it's just it in terms of shining. Like, what other drop top can you get for that amount of money that will give you that amount of pleasure, that amount of enjoyment when you get in the vehicle? So honestly, I do understand the pricing. As much as the way I spec'd it, there's a lot of more features that I didn't spec. And if you go into the Mercedes-Benz configurator, I think you can do it yourself as well. Go into the Mercedes-Benz configurator, click the vehicle, pick the options that you would prefer, and let's see if you spend that amount of money. In this video, for a change, I am not going to tell you I'm giving you 1.7 million rand. Tell me what other vehicle you can get, because what other vehicle can you get that competes with this? E-Class video, yeah, makes sense. You can get the 5 Series, you can get something even bigger, because the type of car in E-Class, it's a 4-door, families and all that stuff. But when you're looking at a vehicle like this, you're in the sports car market, right? So if you take the Mercedes-Benz CLE at its starting price and take it the change cars vehicle finance calculator with no deposit, no balloon payment, and an interest rate of 12.25%, you're looking at paying 33,100 rand. And if you take the one that I spec'd, the one that I would like to buy, the one if I had the money, and you change that amount of money, I think it's just over 1.7, closer to 1.8, and you take it to change cars vehicle finance calculator, you're looking at paying 39,000 for this vehicle. It is a lot of money. And for a change, I'm not going to comment on the pricing because I may not be the target market for now. So keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing. Hopefully in the future I will be a target market for this vehicle. Then I will tell you in terms of the pricing of the vehicle. But like I did say earlier, it kind of makes sense. And if you're looking for insurance to insure your phone, your TV, whatever, your car that you have, the car that you don't have, you can get your next insurance code through Naked. Yes, my brother. I know you. From where? Yes. Yes, you do. So, quick ad break over there. We got disturbed as we were doing the video, because when you notice me, guys, in public, come to me, greet me, I'll greet you back. And I do appreciate all of you guys that are subscribed. I appreciate all of you guys that come to me in person and tell me we appreciate the content, keep pushing. So yeah, that's a real life experience where I'm shooting, I'm meeting people, they're talking to me, they want to see the car. So I really do like that. So please do hit me up. But also, when you come to me, you need to come with an insured phone. If you have a car and I see you driving, the car needs to be what? Insured, and you can get your next insurance quote in under 90 seconds. Click the link in the description box below. But for now, I am leaving the review of the Mercedes-Benz CLE over here. I really do like this vehicle. Like, I really do like this vehicle. And as I'm driving, I'd always try to look for things that I may not like. It's very hard. It's very hard. And also, something that I forgot to mention, in terms of dropping the roof and all of that, it takes 19 seconds. And the good thing about dropping the roof is that you can do it while driving. The car doesn't need to be stationary. You can do it up to 60 kilometers per hour. So that's a very good feature. Let me just quickly show you. It's currently open. I'm gonna start the vehicle and close it as I'm driving so that you guys don't think I am lying. So you first close this top part, and then I'm going to show you. I'm going to drive off as I'm closing it. So yeah, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. As always, I'm Nicky from Car Cabriolet, change cars and all things motoring. If you're looking for insurance, check Naked. I'll see you in the next one. Signing out. You can't see me, but you can hear me.